There are all kinds of buildings all over the world whose origin and construction cannot be explained by experts. They cannot explain how, when, or for what purpose they were built. Some buildings are so old that their construction seems impossible with the means of that time. These amazing works are scattered all over the world, and Japan is no exception. Today, we want to visit some extraordinary places in the land of the rising sun and take a closer look at the mysterious megalithic monuments of Japan that few people know about. Near the city of Takasago, there is an incredibly heavy megalith that weighs between 500 and 600 tons and looks quite strange at first glance, especially when you take into consideration that you don't know who, when, and for what reason it was built. The 6 cubic meter large stone block was apparently carved directly in the quarry from a boulder. The block looks as if it had not been completely finished. It is also assumed that it is not in the correct position because it has a pyramid-shaped projection on one of its sides, which should have looked up at the sky, but does not. However, all this did not prevent a Shinto temple from being erected at this very location. The megalith has been worshipped as long as people can remember. People in the region believe that it is sacred and associated with the god Shinto Oshiko Jinja. The huge stone is located directly above a large stone deposit in the form of a basin in which water is stored. According to temple records, the basin has never been dry, not even during long periods of drought. The water creates an optical illusion through which the huge rock seems to float in the air, although it's connected to the ground. At first glance, it seems as if the surface of the megalith had been crafted by hand, but the scientists could not find any traces of chisels or other tools. In general, no obvious traces of any work could be found. How did the stone get its shape? The scientists are amazed because it is fascinating that such an old stone has such a clean and polished cut. There are theories that claim that this powerful rock is a giant sarcophagus. But for whom would it have been meant? Who would have used it? Only the legends of the locals connect Ishi no Hoden with the gods and attribute their work to them. However, it is obvious that an unknown technology was used in this construction, a technology whose invention would exceed the possibilities of humans at that time, or a technology that was too precise for the people of that time to invent. The best megalithic example found in an initial construction phase and without any further refinement is Ishibutai, although this does not mean that it is not a complex construction. Ishibutai is a megalithic structure and means stone stage. It served the emperor Soga no Umako as a burial place after his death in the 6th century, although the monument is probably much older. The construction of this monument reminds us more of the European megalithism, although Ishibutai is on the other side of the world. Is this just a coincidence, or is there a cultural connection here? The monument consists of 30 huge stones which are distributed so precisely that the building can withstand the passage of time. The largest stone weighs 77 tons and is part of the roof. It is estimated that all of the stones together weigh about 2,300 tons. The inner main burial chamber is located on the north side of the building complex. It is 7.5 meters long, 3.4 meters wide, and 4.8 meters high. These dimensions are far too large for a tomb of any average person. Which creatures were native to Ishibutai, and why? There were castles in Japan too. They served above all to defend and protect the inhabitants. Many of them were built in places where there was already an older megalithic historical site. Osaka Castle is the best example of an incredible construction method. For its construction, huge stone blocks were used. but nobody knows how these stone blocks were transported to the place where the castle stands today. The wall around the castle consists of 5 enormous stones, each weighing over 100 tons, and 15 stones weighing over 50 tons. According to the current state of research, scientists still do not know how to assemble these huge stones so perfectly. One of the cornerstones of Osaka Castle is the Takeoishi, the octopus stone. It weighs 130 tons, is almost 12 meters long, and 5.5 meters high. The special thing about it is that it's only 70 to 90 centimeters thick. The proportions of width, length, and thickness are quite unusual for such a stone. But Ishi no Hoden is not the only amazing megalith in the area around Asuka. There's a variety of carved granite stones in various shapes, but the largest and most fascinating is the Masuda no Iwafun. This translates to the rock ship of Masuda. The stone has an aerodynamic shape, which is why many compare it to a flying ship. This unusual megalith is located near a hill in the middle of a forest. It is not known if the rock originated there or if it was transported there from another location. This granite stone has a volume of 400 cubic meters and weighs about 800 tons. The upper side of the rock ship was formed and flattened. It has 2 square holes of 1 square meter each, perfectly chiseled and polished. At the base of Masuda no Iwafun, there is a strange grid-like indentation that forms a kind of relief mosaic that does not seem to follow any known pattern. The lines we see in the pictures appear only in the part that is not polished. There are countless theories about the purpose of the building, but nobody can say for sure for whom or why this incredible stone block was built. What is its nature, and what was it used for? Does it represent a grave? An astronomical observatory? Or is it a kind of idol in homage to the gods? These are all questions to which we cannot find answers. Masuda no Iwafun is and remains an absolute mystery. In the same region around Asuka, there is another interesting megalith that has been there for several centuries longer. Although the carved patterns on its surface look like a kind of water channel, its true purpose is still unexplained and surrounded by mysteries. This fascinating granite block is known by the name Sokkafoon Ishi and is located on a mountain. It is 5.5 meters long, 2.3 meters wide, and 1 meter thick. There is a theory that the stone was used to make sake or rice wine, but it is almost ridiculous to believe that they would have built such a gigantic monolithic rock quarry, the construction of which was an incredible effort just for the simple production of sake. Sokkafoon Ishi is oriented east-west. This led some researchers to believe that it could be an astronomical observatory to observe the sun's movements. Interestingly, we find a similar construction on the other side of the world. In the archaeological region of Cehuete in Peru, there are some carved boulders. Some are more sophisticated than others, but one of them closely resembles the Japanese rocks. Something unimaginable. Is it a simple coincidence that these carved structures resemble each other? Or was there some kind of connection between these two places so far away? Whether it is an astronomical map, a calendar, or a simple decoration, the fact is that the creation of these megaliths is an incredible work of art. Perhaps they were made with a technique that has been lost over time. Many people will be surprised to learn that there's an old network of pyramids all over Japan. This incredible discovery was published in 1932 by Katsutoki Sakai when he announced that Ashitake Mountain in Hiroshima was in fact an artificial pyramid mountain. The pyramid mountains of Japan do not look like the pyramids in Egypt or Mexico, but rather resemble the pyramids of Bosnia. In other words, they're gigantic artificial formations that disguise themselves as mountains. It is believed that these artificial formations were created with the aim of being astronomical observatories. They are pyramidal in shape with prehistoric megalithic structures associated with ceremonial purposes at or near their tops. The pyramids of Japan are the oldest pyramids in the world. Some experts date their construction to the epoch during the end of the last ice age. There must have been a great catastrophe that destroyed these gigantic rock formations, just like the ones we can see today on the holy island of Yakushima. On the mountains of the island there are large granite stones which, according to experts, are also artificial. Some have amazing incisions, as if an invisible force had broken them cleanly apart. Even the huge Tenshuseki stone on Tanshu Mountain looks like an artificial work created for a purpose. Strangely enough, each mountain has different formations, and they are the very ones that are the origin of the prevailing legends of this place. The people on the island believe that the high mountains were the territory and residence of the gods, the sacred places where ancestral beings were worshipped. What we have seen here today is only a small part of Japan's mysterious past, a country that holds many secrets just waiting to be discovered.